Welcome to VGuide TV channel. Subscribe VGuide TV channel for more videos. In this video, I'm going to give a quick revision on the chapter Motion in a Straight Line. It is also called motion in one dimension. So I'm going to revise the equations, most important concepts from these chapter. First concept, you all know what is the difference between speed and velocity. Speed is nothing but distance divided by time taken, and it is nothing but a scalar quantity. Velocity is displacement by time, and it is a vector quantity, and both the quantities we are expressing in SI unit, meter per second. What is called average speed? Average speed is nothing but total distance divided by total time. Average velocity we can calculate by total displacement by total time. Next, I am going to discuss few graphs of this chapter. This is a displacement time graph, and in this graph you can see that the line which is parallel to x-axis. It means that this is the graph for the body which is at rest. But see this graph. In this graph, the line goes like this. It's a straight line. It means that this is the graph for body moving under uniform velocity. The body moving under uniform velocity. Or in this case, if you take the slope of the graph, so that only I have written here, slope. Slope of the graph means, what is the meaning of slope? Slope is nothing but S2 minus S1 divided by T2 minus T1. What is the meaning of that? That is nothing but the change in displacement divided by time. You take any two values of the graph, find out the corresponding x-axis and y-axis. For this point also, find out the corresponding x-axis and y-axis. Take the change, that means delta S by delta T. If you do, you get the velocity. If you take the slope at any point, if you're taking these 2 points or these 2 points or take another 2 points, any point you take it in the straight line, we get only one constant value, that is called the velocity is constant, or I can tell that the body moves under constant velocity. But see this graph. This is the graph in which if you draw the slope of this graph, slope is getting increased. If you draw a slope at this point like this, if you draw a slope like this, if you draw a slope here, the slope is getting increased. Okay, slope means you have to take it like this and see. So the angle is getting increased. As the angle is getting increased, I can tell that this is the case for body moves under constant acceleration. But if you draw a slope for this graph, you can see that slope means nothing but a tangent. So you can see that the slope is getting decreased. So this is the graph for body moves under constant retardation. Okay, and see the last graph what I marked is it is a straight line. So it's uniform velocity only, but you see it's getting decreased. It means that the body moves with negative velocity. So the graphical questions they can ask. So you should have a fundamental idea about this graph. Body under rest, body moves with constant velocity, body moves under constant acceleration, body moves under negative acceleration, or it means constant retardation. The last graph for body moves with negative velocity. Next, a velocity time graph. From the velocity time graph, the first graph you see it's a straight line parallel to time axis, means here also the velocity is constant. But if you see the velocity graph goes like this, the meaning is the velocity is increasing, and here also if you take the slope, you will get a constant value. So I can call that this is the graph for body moves under constant acceleration. Why it is constant acceleration means I have taken the slope. Slope is nothing but V2 minus V1 divided by T2 minus T1. You are taking the corresponding x-axis and x coordinate and y coordinate. I'll get a value called acceleration. So remember the slope of velocity time graph, we get a constant value and we get acceleration. See the next graph, that is called acceleration time graph. Here I got a straight line, so I can call this as the body moves under constant acceleration. Now, I need to tell one more thing. From the first graph, I told it's a displacement time graph. When you found the slope, you got velocity. If you see the velocity time graph, if you're taking the slope, I get acceleration. So I can conclude these all in the next page. So here I made a column. So in this case, the slope of displacement time graph gives velocity. Slope of velocity time graph gives acceleration. Area of velocity time graph. See the graph again. If you see this graph, if you're taking the area, it is velocity into time. What is the area? Velocity into time? Displacement. So I can call that area of velocity time graph gives displacement, and area of acceleration time graph gives change in velocity. So this is a very important concept of this chapter. From graph, they can ask what about its slope and area gives. Slope means you just check it what is plotted in along x-axis and what along y-axis. I'll give a shortcut, a trick I'll give you. Slope means you do division of x, y and x. This is a shortcut method. So slope means you divide y-axis by x-axis. Area means you multiply y-axis and x-axis. Check it, it's correct or not. What is velocity by time? Acceleration. What is velocity into time? Displacement. What is displacement by time? Velocity. So slope means you do the division and area means you do the multiplication. Okay. Then another one, acceleration time graph. If you calculate the area, if you calculate the area, what is acceleration into time? It is change in velocity. In the next page I have written the equation. That time you will get more idea. See, we know that you all are very familiar with this equation, the equations of uniformly accelerated motion. V equals u plus at, it is called the velocity time relation. S equals ut plus half at square, it is called displacement time relation. V square minus u square equal to as, it is called displacement velocity relation. And acceleration is v minus u by t, change in velocity by time. So that's the reason I asked in the previous step, what is A into T? A into T is nothing but V minus U. Who are V and U? U is initial velocity, V is final velocity. So what is V minus U? It is nothing but change in velocity. So you can conclude that here the area of acceleration time graph gives change in velocity. Okay. So I hope you understood these 4 points. And this 3 equation, based on these equations also they can ask the numericals. Next I am going for another equation, that is sometimes they may not ask in the previous form, they will give like a differential form. Okay, so see here the velocity I can write from the graph. You just see I have taken change in displacement by time. It means you can write V as dx by dt. Nothing, it is change in displacement by time or displacement by time. What is acceleration? Acceleration is nothing but dv by dt, change in velocity by time. Change in velocity by time, in this v you can substitute the above equation. So it is d by dt of dx by dt. What is the meaning of d by dt of dx by dt? It is d square x by dt square. It means double differentiation. You should differentiate 2 times. Now, this is a very important equation, that displacement of the body in nth second. You know 2 equations for displacement, that is previous 2 equation. These 2 are the displacements in n seconds. But this is specifically I am telling nth second, 6th second, 7th second, like that. If you specify, your equation changes as u plus a by 2 into 2n minus 1. U plus a by 2 into 2n minus 1. Okay, mostly I'll prefer the first equation. It's easy to remember. U plus a by 2 into 2n minus 1 is the equation for displacement of the body in nth second. What is the difference between nth second and nth second? 6 seconds means total, 0 to 6 seconds is the meaning. But what is the meaning of sixth second? Sixth second means it is between 5 second to 6 second. So that interval. Okay, in that interval, what is the displacement? That is called displacement of the body in nth second. They will give 10th second, 6th second, 13th second. Now, next, little more explanation for the position time graph. That means our displacement time graph only. I've seen in few exams, they ask both A and B the signs. So this one, I usually remember that U-shaped graph indicates positive acceleration and N-type graph indicates negative acceleration. It's a trick. Okay, it's a shortcut. There is no physical meaning and all, only easy to remember. U-shaped graph means this side or this part, anything you take, acceleration is positive. N-shaped graph means take it like this part or this part, both are for negative acceleration. So now you see it's a U shape, so A is positive. This is like a N half, so A is negative. This is N remaining half, A is negative. This is U first half, A is positive. It's like that you remember. So here we know that it is getting increasing nature. This also increasing nature. So in both the cases, velocity is giving us positive. But if you see here, it is decreasing. So velocity is negative. Here also it's decreasing. So velocity is negative. So I told a shortcut way to remember acceleration is positive or negative. U-shaped graph, like U, this half or this half you take, both are positive acceleration. N shape you take, both are negative acceleration. Another one what I told, if as time increases displacement is increasing, it's a positive acceleration. But as the time increases displacement is getting decreased, means it is a negative velocity. So positive velocity, negative velocity. As time increases displacement is increasing means it is positive velocity. Okay, this also positive velocity, but in these two cases, as the time increases, displacement is decreasing. So it is called by the name, it is called by negative velocity. This in once they asked. So this graph you see, I told a shortcut, so it is easy to do. This is an N-shaped graph. So you know that it is for a negative acceleration, or it is also called retardation. So they are just doing that only. Till here, it is like a displacement value is coming like a positive. After a certain point, highest point is decreasing. So we can draw its graph for velocity time like this. Okay, what is the meaning? This is the graph for which graph is this one? The velocity, the first it's positive. First it's positive. So the velocity is positive, but we know that the acceleration is negative, so it is coming down. Positive side only coming down. But after reaching a certain point, the velocity is coming in the negative. Negative and negative, when it comes, the acceleration will come as the acceleration. You see the negative, but I told this is N-shaped graph. So we know that it is for uniformly retarded motion or uniformly accelerated in the opposite direction. Questions they will twist like this. So you see uniformly retarded or uniformly accelerated in the opposite direction. Both are same. So this is the graph for displacement time. The corresponding graph velocity time is this one. The last one they are given like a speed. This is for a speed time they are given. Speed and time. Okay. So it's like a speed cannot come in the negative. So they just marked it in the positive. This is for a speed time. This they gave the velocity time. And this they gave displacement time. This all the three graphs. So they can give this graph and they can ask to draw the displacement time graph, or they will give displacement time graph and they'll ask to draw velocity time graph. So remember this, the first thing you should keep it in the mind. What is the meaning of V positive? So you may think like that velocity positive means acceleration also positive. It's not compulsory. There are cases velocity positive, acceleration can be negative. Velocity negative, acceleration can be negative. Velocity negative, acceleration can be positive. Okay. Next, I am giving some shortcut equations. A particle is moving along a straight line covers first half distance with a velocity v1 and the remaining half with a velocity v2. What is the average velocity? Okay, here in the first case, x1 equal to x2. Both distances are taken, half distance, remaining distance. It means if we go with some distance with a velocity and another distance with another velocity, but those two distances are same, means no need to think anything. You can directly use this equation, 2v1 v2 by v1 plus v2 is the equation for average velocity. But if you're taking the first half with the velocity, first half, it covers the first half time. It is like a first half time with the velocity v1 and next half time with the velocity v2. So in this case, I am taking t1 equal to t2. Okay. Time is same. Distances are not same. Time is same. So in that case, you can use the shortcut equation v1 plus v2 by 2. So people will get confused. Both are the equation for average velocity. But this equation we can use only in the case in which distances are same. This equation we can use that time is same. This is another case. A particle is moving along a straight line with a uniform acceleration, and it crosses 2 points A and B with a speed of v1 and v2. If C is the midpoint, then what is the velocity? If C is the midpoint, directly take the root over v1 square plus v2 square by 2. So, provided the condition that it moves in which point only? Straight line. And it crosses 2 points A and B. So, A and B midpoint only, which one? C. Then only you can use the equation. Okay. So, before studying the equation, you should remember that where we should apply that. Now, this is another main shortcut equation we used in this chapter. If a body starts from rest, so first hint, the body is starting from rest and moves with an acceleration alpha. After that, it is accelerating for a certain time. We don't know how much time. It is accelerating for some time. Then deceleration. Then after that, it is doing deceleration at a rate of beta. And after that, it is stopped. So, 4 cases they are telling. First, the body is at rest. Then the body undergoes acceleration. Then the body is going deceleration. After that, the body is getting stopped. The total time taken, they are given t. Okay, so in a question, if you see these all words, you need not do other equation. You can directly use this equation. After some time, body at rest, it undergoes acceleration. After that, it gets a velocity. You take that velocity as maximum velocity. Maximum velocity equation is alpha beta by alpha plus beta into t. And what is the distance traveled by the body is half alpha beta by alpha plus beta into t square. So these two equations you remember. What are the hints should be in the question? Body start from rest, it undergoes acceleration. After that, it undergoes deceleration. What's the total time taken? T. So what is the maximum velocity? Alpha beta by alpha plus beta into t. What is the distance travel? Half alpha beta by alpha plus beta into t square. For this also I have a shortcut. I will remember that V is equal to AT, you know, right? S equal to half AT square also, you know, right? So in this case, in the place of A, we are substituting a value of alpha beta by alpha plus beta. Now look at the equation. Instead of AT, they wrote alpha beta by alpha plus beta into t. Instead of half AT square, in place of A, I am using alpha beta by alpha plus beta into t square. If they ask what is the average velocity, that case it will be V by 2. 0 plus V by 2. Okay, this is a very, very important case. Now, next point. If a body starts from rest and moves with a uniform acceleration, start from rest means we know that u equal to 0. Therefore, they can ask this type of variation. S is proportional to t square. Which equation? S is equal to ut plus half at square. V square proportional to S. So, V is proportional to root over S. V equal to u plus at, we can write V proportional to t. Actually, they did not do anything. They directly applied your uniformly accelerated motion equation with the condition of u as 0. Question if they twist also, you remember s proportional to t square because u was 0. Here also u was 0, that's what v square proportional to s and v directly proportional to t. This is the relation connecting s and t, v and s and v and t. Next. Same thing, I am giving another case. If the body moves with a constant velocity, previous one I told constant acceleration. This is a constant velocity, means displacement is proportional to time and the velocity will be constant because they gave it in the question. So you see the difference here, s is proportional to t. In the previous equation you see s is proportional to t square. This understanding should be there. The body moves with constant acceleration s proportional to t square. But if the body moves with constant velocity, s is proportional to t. Okay, this is another question. This question you can do it in the long method, but it's like a shortcut. If a bullet loses 1/nth of its velocity while passing through a plank, then minimum number of planks required to stop the bullet. Questions will be like this: a bullet of velocity u passing through a plank, it loses its half of its velocity, or it loses 1/8 of its velocity. Like that questions will come. They will ask how many planks required to stop the bullet. So those type of question you can use equation n square by 2n minus 1. N square by 2n minus 1. If you're finding those if you're finding difficult to remember this type of equation, use the standard formula v square minus u square equal to 2as. What they told, according to velocity, if it is 1/8, you write u by 8. Like that you can substitute and do. Okay, but if you can remember, it will be better. So number of planks required is n square divided by 2n minus 1, where n is nothing but how much time it is getting reduced. Velocity is getting reduced. This also, it's an important question. Few people will get misunderstand many times. A body drop from a certain height reaches the ground after the time t. It covers exactly half of the distance. Many people will get the tendency to write t by 2 because it is exactly half distance, mean time also will be half. No. When the body is falling down, it is under uniform acceleration g. So if you want to cover half of the distance, actually we are using the equation s is equal to half gt square. So if you want s become s by 2 proportional to t square. So what's the time taken? T by root 2. I have seen that many of the students, they will write this answer as t by 2. It is not t by 2, it is t by root 2 because s is equal to half gt square. What is the question? A body dropped from a certain height reaches the ground after the time t. It covers exactly half of the distance in a time of t by root 2. Then these two also ratios they can ask for exam. The ratio of distance travel in the first second, second second, third second, it means we are using which equation? Third equation, that is s is equal to u plus a by 2 into 2n minus 1 equation. If you substitute, I get an answer as 1:3:5:7. Why we are getting odd number? Because that is 2n minus 1. So we will get 1:3:5:7. It means first second 1, second 3, third second 5, fourth second 7, like that. But if they are asking what is the distance traveled in 1 second, 2 second, 3 seconds. So what's the meaning of 3 second? Total. So it is easy to remember. If you know any one ratio, add it. 1. First second means 1 only. Second 1 plus 3, 4. Third second 1 plus 3 plus 5, 9. Next second 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7, 16. So you can divide, you can get the ratio 1:4:9:16:, etc. because s is proportional to t square. Okay, these are very simple things, but you arrange it in order. So these both are the ratio. This is the ratio of the distance in the first second, second second and all. This is the ratio of the distance travelled in 1 second, 2 second, 3 second, etc. Next, this is another main question from this chapter. I want to join few cases. An object is projected vertically up from the top of a tower which reaches the ground after t1 second. So first case, you are throwing a body up from a tower. If that object is projected down with the same velocity, next we are taking it is projecting down. What is the meaning of projecting down? We are giving a velocity. With the same velocity, it takes the time of t2. First time it takes the time of t1, next time it takes the time of t2. They will ask the height of the tower. You can use h is equal to half into g into t1 t2. Half gt square only, but see the time t1 t2. What is the velocity of projection? V is equal to velocity of projection. We can take it as g into t1 minus t2 by 2. This also we are substituting in both the cases and we are getting. But I need to focus for the next one. These two situations with this one they are relating. If the same object is projected horizontally with the same velocity, or if it is released from the same point, okay. So projected horizontally with the same velocity, or if it is projected with the velocity. See, the thing is they are just reaching with this one I am taking, okay. So here you need not take this part, you can take this part. It is released, the body. If that object is released, that's better. If the object is released, I'm just cutting this one. So object is, that will be better. I need to write it again. So if the object is released from the same point. What I'm doing, object is released from the same point. It reaches the ground in a time of t. So what all things we are calculating? T1 means the body is going up. T2 means the body is projecting down. T means it is released. Released means nothing but dropped. So you can relate this 3 times together by formula T equals root over T1 T2. Very important formula. T equals root over T1 T2. So what we are doing? We are relating 3 cases. Body projected up, body projected down, and the body drop. So what is the velocity? What is the equation for velocity? T equals to root over T1 T2. Another one is the last and the main case of this one. A body is projected vertically up. What is the maximum height reached by the ball? Maximum height is h equals u square by 2g. When the body is projected vertically up, what is the time taken to go up? That will be equal to time taken for the body to come down. That is time of ascent equal to time of descent. So total time will be equal to 2u by g. Total time will be equal to 2u by g. Then they can ask this also. An object is released from a balloon rising vertically up with a constant velocity. The separation between the object and balloon after the time t will be calculated as s is equal to half gt square because it is released. So these type of questions you can use this type of shortcut formulas. Okay, you can do with the direct equation, but with shortcut formula means it is easy to understand. So I discussed the most of the important equation from the first chapter. So you can just revise of all those topics. You can arrange it in a proper way. If you want more videos, subscribe to VGuide TV channel. Thank you.